Alright, let's talk a little bit about the iPhone 7. So the iPhone 7, it is at the same time potentially the best smartphone to ever be created and lacking one of the most glaringly obvious details that should 100% be included. So let's talk about it a little bit. Before we get started, I am a huge Apple fanboy. I have been a fan of Apple since the iPhone 3G. I hated Apple prior to that. Bought an iPhone because they were awesome. Loved it so much that I ended up buying a MacBook. Eventually, bought an Apple TV. Then I bought an iPad. Then I bought an Apple Watch, as well as every other year version of the iPhone that has been released. So this is my year to upgrade to the new iPhone, and it's the iPhone 7. Let me get into the negative reasons first. So I'm just going to kind of harp on all the bad things about it, and then we'll end on a positive note. If you don't want to hear any of the negative and just want to hear the good stuff, skip toward the end somewhere, then it'll be good there. If you just want to hear the negative, when I get done, you can cut it off and you can say, that guy hated iPhones. Great, I don't really care. Do whatever you want. Negative things about iPhone. First of all, oh my gosh.
Now, some people have asked why we would remove the analog headphone jack. Well, the reason to move on, I'm going to give you 3 of them, but it really comes down to one word: courage.
Dude, for real? Courage? It took courage to remove something from your product that your consumers wanted? You know the word that we use to describe the first responders to the 9/11 attacks that ran into the burning building knowing that they were probably not going to come out alive? You know what word we used? Courage. So having courage to screw over your customers, not sure that was the right choice of words. Actually, I am sure. I'm sure that it was not the right choice of words. 100% wrong choice of words. But that's enough about the headphone jack. You've already heard tons about the headphone jack. Stupid, right? Let's talk about some other stupid things that they're doing in the iPhone 7. This one is actually not iPhone 7 specific. This one is actually iOS 10. They're adding things to messages that they shouldn't add. You can do full screen effects now and make lightning strike on the screen and fireworks go off and confetti come down. How exciting! Look how cool and hip we are, kids. Not this company isn't run by 70-year-olds. No, we're hip with the times. What are you doing this to me? Sorry, that may have been a little bit of an overreaction. The amount of stuff that you're cramming into the Messages app is too much. It's way too much. It's like you're marketing it to like 5-year-olds? Look, the screen lights up. How neat is that? It's not neat. Maybe that's just me. If you disagree with that, if you like the new Messages thing, comment below. Let me know, because maybe it's just me. I am a fairly negative person, so it's entirely possible that it's just me. Another negative, let's talk for just a second about the dual camera on the iPhone Plus. This is also going to be in the positive section, but it's in the negative section for one reason. They rolled out this new feature which is simulated depth of field. If you don't know what depth of field is, it's whenever the subject is in focus and the background is out of focus. This is especially prevalent whenever you have bokeh. What bokeh is whenever a light is in the background and it turns into a circle in the background, just little circle dots that are kind of glimmery and shiny. Gorgeous in photos. Gorgeous. It comes from having a really large sensor and opening your iris as wide as it'll go. It just creates these gorgeous images. Now, what Apple has done is cool. They can simulate depth of field, but the bokeh is painfully hysterical. It's bad. You see how awful the dots look? They just look blurry and gross and like pixel. Gah. Positives. Now, I said at the beginning of this video, this may be the best smartphone ever made. I genuinely mean that. I am astounded by what they have done in this iPhone. Okay, so the new camera is going to be spectacular. It really is. It's going to be so awesome. And in the iPhone 7 Plus, there is actually going to be 2 cameras built in. One's like a 10mm lens, one's like a 56mm lens. And you could zoom in twice as far as you used to be without losing any resolution on your smartphone. That's awesome. Another thing I love about this iPhone is the speed. It's going to be awesome. It really is. If all you're doing all day is just checking your email every once in a while, this battery is going to last forever. And that's the third thing. Battery life is phenomenal. It's even better than it was on the 6 and the 6S. That's nuts. You can browse the internet for like 15 hours. That's amazing. Your eyes would melt out of your head before the battery would stop. If you just set your phone down as a music player, hit play, it would play for 60 hours before the battery died. That is mind-numbing. 2.5 days of solid music playing. I can't even imagine if you just had it idle. That thing lasts for 18 years when it's idle. It's awesome. Speaking of music, they are introducing a new speaker into the mix, which is great because one, it increases the dynamic range. What that means for you is it will actually have a broader range of tones that it can play on the spectrum. The old one could play between this and this. The new one can play between this and this. Now, that's great. That will produce higher fidelity audio. Whenever you're playing something, it will sound clearer, it will sound less muffled, it will sound less like it's clipping. Also, they're making it stereo sound, which is great and not new. Other phones have done this well before the iPhone. The iPhone traditionally has had one speaker on the bottom. Now they're adding a second speaker on top. And if you're watching a video, now sound plays out of both sides and it will actually be true stereo. Used to it was mixed down to mono. That is awesome. And no, it's not a new feature for phones in general, but it's a game changer for iPhones themselves. It is now water and dust resistant. That is awesome. If you accidentally fall in the pool, you don't have to freak out knowing that your iPhone is now dead. You can pull it out and it should be fine. It's about time. Now, don't get me wrong, that is a hard feat to accomplish, and they took some major feats of engineering to accomplish it. Other phones have done it before. Again, just like the speaker. This is not a new thing for a smartphone, it's a new thing for an iPhone. An iPhone implementing these things has stepped them up to another notch. A notch that Samsung had already beaten. Speaking of Samsung, their newest phone, the Galaxy Note 7, awesome phone. Awesome phone. Can spontaneously burst into flames because of a battery issue. So, if you have a Galaxy Note 7, you can get a replacement. You call like 1-800-SAMSUNG and they'll send out a replacement and give you like $25 as a gift card for nearly blowing you up. I guess that's the going rate for human life. It's $25. But I mean, you just get a little burn, just a little fire to the face while you're on a phone call. That's nothing. Which is actually really good news for Apple as they launch their 7. Hopefully this one doesn't bend, and hopefully it doesn't set people's faces on fire, and then they're just gonna blow it out of the water again. So anyway, those are my favorite and least favorite things about the new iPhone announcement. I really want to know what you think. I absolutely want to know what you think. So please leave me your comments. Tell me how you feel about the new iPhone. Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you not care what they do? They can do no wrong, or they can do no right. Tell me. I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious of what you think. And I will see you next time.
Yeah.
I own like 80 pairs of headphones, and I own 2 that are wireless.
Yeah, and I hate them.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
they're not
I hate
great.
my wireless headphones.
So, yeah, okay, we created the good wireless headphones. That's what Apple says. We created the best ones ever. I'm sure you did, but you're not giving them to me. You're not letting me come along the journey with you to wireless.
Even build it into the cost, and I won't complain, but I'll still probably buy it because
exactly.
I have up to this point.